Making 40K a year can feel like you're just constantly treading water. After you pay for rent and groceries and all the bills, it feels like there's nothing left to actually get ahead. You see all these stories online about people retiring early or building these massive investment portfolios, and you just think, yeah, that's great for them, but that's not for me. But what if I told you there's an exact plan that proves it totally can be?
And yeah, this quote, it just nails it, right? It feels impossible because nobody ever lays out the specific step-by-step system that actually works for a normal salary, not some six-figure paycheck. All the financial advice you hear just feels like it's made for somebody else living in a completely different world. But the truth is, having a clear plan, that can change everything right now with the income you already have.
So let's get real about the numbers for a second. When you're making 40 grand a year, after taxes and all the essentials, we're talking rent, a car payment, food, utilities, this is often what you're actually left with. I mean, maybe $200 if you're lucky. Some months you might even be in the negative. So when you hear advice like, oh, just invest $500 a month, it feels completely and totally out of touch.
So that brings us to the big question, right? If the numbers are this tight, is it even possible to build real, lasting wealth? Is the whole idea just a fantasy for people at this income level? Well, the answer is absolutely not. But it requires a completely different approach than what you've probably heard before.
Okay, so here's the big secret, the thing most people miss. The biggest reason people don't get ahead on this salary isn't just the number itself. It's because they skip steps. People try to jump straight to step 4, investing, before they've built a solid foundation. With a budget, an emergency fund, and getting rid of bad debt. And then what happens? One unexpected car repair, and boom, it wipes out all their progress. Success isn't just about earning more, it's about following the right order of operations.
And that system, well, it has a name. We're going to walk through what's called the Wealth Stack Framework. This is the exact playbook, the sequential guide that makes sure you're building your financial future on solid rock, not on sand. And look, the most important thing to get here, the thing you absolutely have to remember, is that the order is everything. Each level of this stack supports the one right above it. You only move to the next level when the one before it is totally secure. This is what stops you from having those frustrating setbacks and helps you build real sustainable momentum.
Okay, so here it is, the roadmap. Super simple, 4 levels. First, we stop the bleeding and figure out exactly where your money's going. Then, we build a financial shield with an emergency fund. After that, we go on the attack against the biggest wealth killer out there, high-interest debt. And only then, only after all that is done, do we start firing up the wealth engine through investing. So let's break down that foundation.
All right, this first phase, it's all about creating stability. Before you can even think about growing your money, you have to be in control of it. Now, this isn't the sexiest part, I get it, but it is, without a doubt, the most important. Getting this part right is what makes everything else even possible.
Okay, so step 1 kicks off right here with a simple budget. A great rule of thumb to start with is the 50-30-20 rule. About half your take-home pay goes to needs like rent and groceries. 30% is for wants, the fun stuff. And then at least 20% is for savings and paying down debt. The goal here is really simple. Just track every dollar so you can find an extra $200 or $300 a month. You can use a free app or even just a notebook for 1 month to see where your money is truly going. That money you find, that's the fuel for every other step we're about to do.
And that fuel you just found? It has one job and one job only. It goes right here into a starter emergency fund. Think of this $1,000 as your financial immune system. It's the thing that stops a flat tire from turning into a credit card disaster that sets you back for months. You put this money in a high-yield savings account and you do not touch it. This is your, oh crap, something broke money. All right, once that little financial shield is in place, it's time to go on the attack. High-interest debt is the single biggest wealth killer for most people. You've got 2 main strategies. The Debt Avalanche focuses all your extra cash on the debt with the highest interest rate, like a laser. This is the one that saves you the most money over time. Then there's the Debt Snowball. With this, you pay off your smallest debt first, no matter the interest rate. This gives you these quick psychological wins as you start knocking out debts one by one. Honestly, it doesn't matter which one you pick. The best one is the one you're actually going to do. Just pick one and go.
Okay, foundation's built, you're stable. Now we get to the fun part. This is where you switch from playing defense to playing offense. This is where you start making your money work for you and begin to build real, long-term wealth.
And this quote right here just says it all. So many people think they need to wait wait until they're totally debt-free, or wait until they have $10,000 saved up, that is a huge mistake, a costly one. The most powerful tool you have in your wealth-building toolkit is time, so you have to start using it as soon as you possibly can.
And if you need to see it to believe it, look at this. This chart shows you exactly what waiting costs you. By investing just $100 a month, starting at age 25 versus waiting until 35, results in a difference of over $140,000 by retirement. That 1 decade of waiting literally costs you a fortune. 140 grand, just gone, poof. That's the magic of compound interest.
Okay, so where does that money actually go? The order here is super important, so listen up. First, if your job offers a 401k match, that means they put in money. If you do, you contribute just enough to get all of it. It is literally free money, an instant 100% return. Next, you open a Roth IRA. This is a retirement account where your money grows and can be taken out completely tax-free in retirement, which is a huge, huge advantage. And inside those accounts, you don't need to get fancy and pick stocks. Just buy a simple, low-cost index fund like VTI or VOO, which lets you own a tiny piece of the entire stock market.
Look, everything we've covered so far, it will work, period. But if you want to pour gasoline on the fire and really speed things up, this is the final level. There's only so much you can realistically cut from your budget, but there is no ceiling on how much you can earn. Adding even a few $100s a month from a side hustle and throwing all of it toward your investments, well, that's the ultimate accelerator.
Okay, let's wrap this up with something really important, a mindset shift. The real reason most people never build wealth on a $40,000 salary isn't a math problem, it's a belief problem. They see their income as a permanent dead end, but it's not. It is simply your starting point, and with the right system, it is more than enough to build a really secure financial future.
So there you have it. That's the whole plan. The playbook is literally right in front of you. Now, the only thing that matters is the next decision you make. So my question for you is this: which one of these levels are you going to focus on starting today? Are you on level 1, getting that budget under control, or maybe level 3, finally fighting that debt? Your journey starts by taking that very first step.